Hey!
Yay! What's up?
If anybody wasn't sleeping, if anybody was sleeping, you're not sleeping now.
Nope. Wake up. Wake up.
Because you are watching the Auto Authorities Podcast. Or you are listening to the Auto Authorities Podcast on iTunes and 18 other different channels.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
We have an amazing show today.
No.
I probably have never said that before. I'm sure you've never heard it. But we have some really interesting questions. This live question and answer has been really incredible. And I think that whoever is listening today is going to walk away with the
golden nugget.
Yes. Yes. So I want to introduce myself. My name is Jay Grossman. I am the founder and CEO of iAutoAgent.com, where the I stands for integrity. And this is Mr.
David Marks with Quality Auto STL, home of trusted services with no surprises.
All right. I hope we have some good internet here, because it looks like we have a little bit of a slow connection here, but hopefully we'll be able to get a good show in today.
Keep rolling.
So before we begin, I want to thank our main sponsor, Techie Tony with Techie Tony Media. He has done an amazing job for us, and he has a little gift for our listeners. Does everybody want to hear?
I do.
Well, if you are looking to start a podcast and you're not sure where to start, you can have this beautiful setup, and you can have Techie Tony with Techie Tony Media by simply emailing him at start@TechieTonyMedia.com. That's start@TechieTonyMedia.com. He is going to give a free strategy session over the phone to see what he can do to help you. Thank you, Tony.
Yeah, thanks, Tony.
All right. Is everybody ready? Because we're going to be talking about some stuff that I guarantee you very, very few people have ever talked about online. Are you ready for this, Dave?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
Have you ever felt like you were taken for a ride when buying, selling, or repairing your car? Well, not anymore. I'm Jay.
And I'm Dave.
And this is the podcast that tells you what to watch out for, whether you're buying, selling,
or repairing your car.
With 47 years of automotive experience, we are the Automotive Authorities. This podcast is sponsored by iAutoAgent. We're real estate agents for cars.
And Quality Auto STL. Trusted services with no surprises.
Woo! And we are back. Thank you, everybody, for listening. If you're listening to this right now, please put your comments below. We want to hear your questions so we can answer them on a show like this. Every single day. No, not every day. I wish I could do it every day. But once a week, we want to hear what your questions are, because we don't know what we don't know. So if you can put your questions in the comments section, and we will cover them. We'll probably not be able to cover them today because we have been flooded with questions. And we've somebody on there right now saying hi, and I'd like to say hi to you. And also, if you're on YouTube or iTunes, please like, share, subscribe. I am so excited today to say what we're going to talk about. Should we save the best for last? We should always do that, right? So people listen to the end.
I don't know, but can you wait till the end of the show?
I don't know. I have a hard time. Well, you know what? Let's get started by talking about buy here, pay here lots. Okay. Does everybody know what buy here, pay here lots are? Dave, do you know what they are?
To me, it's somewhere where you can walk on. They have the vehicle or they have the car, truck, and you can buy it. And way overpay. They could care less if they ever see you again. All they want to try to do is how much money can we squeeze out of you and get you down the road.
Well, one of our loyal listeners has just sent this question in, and they want to know more about buy here, pay here and how it works. Now, let me tell you something. I want to talk about what a buy here, pay here is. A buy here, pay here lots are what I call honest Abe lots, or what do you call them, Dave?
I call them in St. Louis County where I'm at. We call them the Rock Road car lots because St. Charles Rock Road just full of one car lot after car lot when you travel from 270 going east all the way towards the city.
Yes. And so somebody had just made a comment about buy here, pay here. Now, sometimes there is no choice. I hate to say, but let's just kind of dig in on the business model and why I am not the biggest fan of buy here, pay here lots.
No,
Typically, depending on which lot it is, they don't report to the credit bureau, because what a buy here, pay here lot is you are paying them. They are the bank. And so what happens is the dealer buys a vehicle. Let's just say it's $1,500. They're going to go out and charge an exorbitant amount of money. They may charge as much as $6,000 to $7,000 for that vehicle. And then what they do is they ask for a down payment. Now, the down payment is typically the cost of the car, of what they paid for the car. So if they're charging $7,000 and the down payment is $1,500, they probably paid $1,500 for the car. Here's the problem. A lot of these lots, and I'm not going to say everybody, okay? Because I don't say everybody. But a lot of these lots are not to be trusted. What they do is they put these cars out there. A lot of times they have problems with them, and they get the down payment out of you, and they're going to charge you 25% interest, let's just say, on $7,000. And then you're going to pay twice a month, not once a month, but twice a month. And you are going to make your payment to that dealer. Okay? So the problem is, the people that go to these places pay way too high of interest rates. Let's face it, just because you have bad credit doesn't mean you have to screw somebody over.
Right.
But unfortunately, that's the mindset that a lot of them have. If you're unsure and you're going to a dealer and you just want to reach out and ask a question, you can simply email us at info@iautoagent.com. info@iautoagent.com. So somebody has just, oh boy, there's all kinds of people commenting right now.
Yeah, I knew this would be a hot
Wow.
topic.
We should go ahead and show those comments on screen, Dave. Thank you for commenting about the buy here, pay here. So here's the thing here. What happens is you pay this really ridiculously high payment, and it's usually way more than what you can afford. And the whole point of the dealer is to make it so you're not able to make all your payments, because the dealer does not want you to make all your payments, because they want to repossess the vehicle back so they can resell it again. You follow me? And so, unfortunately, there's a lot of people in this industry that are not above board. And that is why we have this podcast today. My expertise is the buying and selling cars. And Mr. David Mark's expertise is fixing the cars. Because here's what the problem is. If you buy this car, you get to go see Dave.
Yeah,
and you don't want him to throw the parts cannon, right, Dave?
What now?
The parts cannon?
Sometimes. I mean, it's unfortunate. I've seen a lot of people where they buy these for these buy here, pay here's, and then 45 days later, it needs a transmission, and I'm giving them an estimate for $4,500 on a car they overpaid on, that they owe all this money on, and they're stuck.
Here's my whole philosophy, and I've said this time and time again on our podcast. I don't think profit's a bad word. I think unfair is. Plain and simple. Let's not take advantage of people, okay? These people have been in tough situations, and maybe it was their own fault. But let's give people a chance. We're in a world right now that's a very mean and nasty place. We have inflation going on. We have people that are not making enough money at their jobs. It's a lot of tough stuff. So I'm hoping you're listening to this, because if you have to go and buy a car, say for your teenager, reverting back to our last episode, don't go to Honest Abe's lot.
That's the last place you want to go to.
Yes. Go to David Marks, who David could provide you the same year, same price range car, but the quality is through the roof.
Yeah. They're not in the reputation business.
Quality Auto STL. That's exactly what it is. Trusted service with no surprises. So I hope everybody's listening, because we have some really good stuff to talk about next. And the reason why we're going to talk about it is because this just came up today, Dave. I had a client that had a deceased parent, and they were going to try to sell the car. Do you know about transfer on death?
I know. Well, I know, to my knowledge, when people do that and somebody passes away, unfortunately, that the car, that's how cars do not end up in probate. And that transfer on death can easily and quickly get the car retitled so they can legally sell it or whatever they want to do with it.
Absolutely. Listen closely, share this, because I'm going to say some golden nuggets right now. And this is for everybody. Okay. I still even have some great stuff coming up here. So when mom or dad passes away, if it doesn't say transfer on death to somebody else, it goes to this thing called probate court.
Unless it's in a will.
Unless it's in a will or a trust. But you have to be careful of wills, because I just came across this. Just because it's in the will doesn't mean you can sell that car. You have to retitle it in your name. We just had this happen.
So if it goes to a transfer on death, can they resell it? Or
Yes.
they got to get it still retitled in their name?
No. It is their vehicle when the person is deceased.
When the now this, we need to also remind our viewers too. We only know this based on the state of Missouri statutes.
Oh yeah. So if you're listening to this and you're in another state, because we do, this is a nationwide podcast. So if you're not in Missouri, that is not necessarily the case. But if you have a car right now, listen closely.
I'm sure every state has some kind of rule or law about this in some way, shape, or form that's probably similar.
Because what happens is if you don't do that, you're talking about an absolute mess of a situation. An absolute mess. If you want to talk about stress, don't put transfer on death on your title.
Now, I've talked to a couple of real estate planning attorneys about this. They said it depends on how bad the state of Missouri wants the car. Sometimes the state of Missouri could care less, and they just push stuff through it. I've heard other people tell me, no, it becomes a big nightmare.
It all depends on what's going on at what time, doesn't it? You'd think in the state of Missouri, like there's all these people in Jeff City that are there to help you. There's two people. When you call that number, I'm
Is it Guido and Bobby?
Guido and Bobby's aunt and uncle.
Are people you're talking about?
Yeah, Guido and Bobby's aunt and uncle are running the state of Missouri. I'm not kidding, though. In all seriousness, you would try to call the state of Missouri and see how long of a wait you're going to have. It's no fun. We deal with title issues all the time. And here's the other thing that you have to be careful of. And this is a big one and another golden nugget for you. Yeah. So when it comes to lien releases, we had a client that was trying to sell a vehicle, and he didn't even realize that on the title, and he paid this thing off 10 years ago, there was a lien on the title.
Oh, man.
And so the buyer, obviously, you can't sell that vehicle as a clean, you can sell it as a clean title, but you can't sell it as a no lien title. So then that creates more stress. But I even got another better one for you, Mr. Dave and Marks.
Yeah, I've got some stories about lien releases.
Well, listen to this. There's a bank out there, and I don't know if I can say the name of it or not.
Starts with a G, ends with a C.
It starts with a C and it ends with an E, and then the second letter is an H. But we'll play Wheel of Fortune here, okay?
No, I don't see you don't look like no Vanna White to me.
Oh, well, I'm closer to Pat Sajak, I think.
D, none of the above. More like.
So listen to this, everybody. Open your ears, and this is true. We had a situation where the title showed no lien.
Really?
Yep. There didn't show any liens anywhere. But buyer gets to the DMV and they say, there's a lien on the vehicle.
Ooh. Oh, did they have a title loan out on it?
No. The bank never reported the lien released to the state. So guess what?
Well,
we got it handled.
Yeah.
But this is happening more often than ever, and there's really no way for you to know. So I can't even give a piece of advice on that.
So wait a minute. They had a title, but there was nothing. There was on the front of it, didn't show any lien.
Right.
And went to the DMV. Yeah, but how they might
there was never
out against the car after the fact. That's the only way that would happen.
The lien was paid for many years ago. They originally had a lien on it, but the title didn't show a lien, and it had been paid for.
Jay, these give us said we've always got those. I've always got those lien releases, the notarized lien release, and there wasn't one of those.
No, because it was already a clear title. It didn't have anything on there, so you didn't need a lien release.
I didn't know banks were supposed to report to the Department of Motor Vehicle that they've been satisfied. I figured they just send a letter and that's it.
Well, the state has to find out somehow.
Sure,
and,
that makes sense.
And so that's the reality of things. Is we really helped out those people because, and they said, and I talked to the DMV person, and they're like, "This happens all the time, and
really?
there's nothing the dealer can do about it because the dealer sees no lien, and there wasn't a lien on the vehicle." So that's something just to be careful of.
Wow, never ran into that before.
Yeah. So while we're getting a question here, I'm going to have Dave answer this. This is, if you can, everybody see this question.
We'll drive more expensive.
We're getting a question from one of. If you're online and you're listening right now, comment any questions that you have about buying, selling, or repairing cars, and we'll try to answer them on air for you.
Yeah, absolutely. It's more expensive to fix. There's, all the four-wheel drive components. If that stuff needs to replace, that stuff might not be cheap. We just had a 2003 Dodge Raymond here, and the front differential was damaged inside, and $2,200 later, it's fixed.
Whoa.
We had it rebuilt brand new. But yeah, that stuff, there's even on the newer stuff, and the older trucks was all mechanical. The newer stuff, it's electrical mechanical. You got electric motors that engage the four-wheel drive system, and now you got computers involved. And if that stuff fails, it's not cheap to fix.
No. I mean, here's the thing. In the state of Missouri, pretty much everybody thinks they need a four-wheel drive, and that's not true. I mean,
no, you really don't. I hope that answers that guy's question, whoever you are.
Yeah, we can't see your name, but we can see your question, and we really appreciate the question. Because here's the thing: in the state of Missouri, everybody thinks they need a four-wheel drive. You really don't need a four-wheel drive. It's going to cost you more. It's going to cost you more to do a four-wheel drive than it's going to be a two-wheel drive. But it's also going to cost more for maintenance. It's going to cost more for probably insurance. Because it costs more money if you get in an accident in a four-wheel drive, So thank you very much for your question. And then they responded, they said, "Good, I think I got a two-wheel." It's Ashley. Hey, Ashley. That's one of our loyal listeners. Hi, Ashley. So we're going to be getting to the really good stuff here. This is the next topic that people are asking about gap insurance. What do you think about that, Dave?
I mean, to me, I mean, I know a little bit about it. I mean, it covers to my knowledge that if the car's, if you buy a car, let's say you buy a brand new car and it's valued at $20,000, well, with the loan and interest and all that, you're paying actually more than that, and it covers that gap between that.
Yeah. So here's the rule of thumb with gap, and you have to be really careful and you have to understand what gap is. It does. It covers the gap between what your car is worth and what you owe. And the challenge is, and this is not every dealer. These are only the dealers that are ran by Guido and his brother.
Oh,
not our preferred dealers. Our preferred dealers don't do this. But let's say you have a $30,000 car. Okay. Let's say you have a $30,000 car and you're putting $15,000 down. Do you think you should buy gap insurance, Dave?
No.
Absolutely not. But if you have the same situation, you're buying a $30,000 vehicle and you're financing $29,500, you absolutely should buy gap insurance. It's a smart move. It's not very expensive to do. And what it's going to do is it's going to give you a lot of peace of mind, because guess what? When Mr. and Mrs. Insurance Company decide to write you that check, if you've ever been in an accident, somebody else just said, I ended up getting gap insurance with my insurance for $7 a month. That's really good to hear. Is that still Ashley? So I'm going to pop up this answer that one of our listeners they actually went to their insurance agent for $7 a month. Wow.
That makes sense.
That's incredible. That's actually incredible. And that's well worth it too. I agree with that.
$4 a year.
Yeah. Good job, Ashley. We're proud of you. So basically the moral of the story is here, there's going to be a lot of different things that, the dealer's going to try to sell. And there are certain things that I think are important to buy. One of them is gap insurance, if it's the right situation. But if it's not the right situation, you shouldn't. And I know we've talked a lot about, other things that the dealer is going to sell. I have my opinions on that. And, and then it says there's also max coverage on gap insurance. Most companies go gap insurance max payout is $5,000. Interesting. And who is saying that? This is another one of our listeners. Is this still Ashley? Because sometimes that gap could be more than $5,000, especially if you're rolling over money from the previous loan. That's where it really gets scary, because if you're trading in your car and you don't sell your car through iAutoAgent.com, which you really should, plug. Oh, Irfan. Irfan actually works at a dealer. Very knowledgeable. Irfan's been a big fan for many years. So yeah, you have to be very, you have to know what situation you're in, because if there's a max coverage gap or a max coverage and you're rolling, let's say you're rolling $5,000 to the next vehicle. Well, let's face it, your vehicle is going to depreciate. So you're going to be well over 5,000. I mean, it'll cover $5,000. That's interesting. Thanks, Irfan, for sharing that. Man, we've got a lot of good stuff, huh?
Woo! Great.
I'm losing my voice. I'm talking so much. It's been incredible. These live question and answer sessions have been amazing. And in fact, if you're listening, please like, share, follow. Just let everybody know about the Auto Authorities podcast. We're really enjoying doing this, and we really hope that you guys are getting a lot out of this. And once again, I just really wanted to thank Techie Tony with Techie Tony Media. He's offering a free startup strategy session. If you're not sure how to start a podcast, you want to start a podcast, he's going to do it for you. Just email start@techieTonyMedia.com. That's start@techieTonyMedia.com. He'll take care of you. You know what we're going to do on the next show, Dave? And we've got a big one here.
Well, what's been going on with the auto industry? There's this thing, I believe, called the chip shortage still.
Really? I've never heard of the chip shortage, Dave.
Oh.
Tell me about that, please.
Well, some automakers don't have their stuff together, and they can't manufacture they got these chip manufacturers, got them by the you-know-what.
Yeah. Well, guess what? We are going to have an update on the chip shortage. And if you think you're not buying a car, it's not going to affect you, think again, because this is going to affect you. Whether you're buying, selling, or repairing your car, the chip shortage is going to affect you. And that is what we're going to cover on the next episode. Any other closing remarks, Dave?
No, I learned more about gap insurance that I didn't know about, and learned more about how the buy here, pay here business model works. So always educational.
Absolutely. And just to reiterate what we talked about before, and Irfan, thank you so much for all your comments. Just to let you know, the buy here, pay here companies are not going to report to the credit bureau. Therefore, it will not build you credit. Okay? If you're looking to build credit, that is not the place to go. There are other ways to build credit. And we have gotten questions in the past, and maybe we need to do a whole show on that, because I do know a lot about that. But a simple, a secured credit card will help out a lot. And we have some credit union partners that we work with that can get these secured credit cards. If you are looking to build credit and you have had some setbacks, these secured credit cards are the easiest way to do it. Remember, it took a lot of time to lose your credit rating. It's going to take some time to build your credit rating, okay? So maybe we'll talk a little bit about that in addition to the chip shortage, because we have got so many questions. It is unbelievable. So keep the questions coming in. If you're listening, comment below. If you're on YouTube or iTunes or Amazon or Google or Stitcher or any of the things, we want to hear your questions. We will answer them. You can even email your questions to info@iautoagent.com. That's info@I like integrity, autoagent.com. And Irfan saying that he would like to have a show about how to build credit. Maybe we do that, Dave. Let's put that on our.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Buying a car, if you do it right, is probably the best way to build credit. And this is just, it's talking about credit. One thing I was told is that since cars and houses are considered necessities, it's pretty easy for anybody to get financed, and because they're easily repossessable.
To a certain extent, yes.
But we could say all this with that show.
And depending on which institution you use, some institutions do not just go by credit score. They go by, does this make sense? Some people have bad credit scores, unfortunately, because of medical expenses. You know what? If you don't have insurance and you've had to pay medical bills, whoa, that will cost you as much as a car, if not more, depending on what they are. And
Sure.
You should not be faltered by paying those unbelievably inflated medical rates at hospitals. And oh gosh, we could go on and on, but
Sure.
We're running out of time. Next show's going to be an update on the chip shortage. You're going to want to hear this. I want to thank everybody that has participated today. Thank you. My name's Jay Grossman. I'm the founder and CEO of iAutoAgent.com. And this is Mr.
David Marks with Quality Auto STL. Trusted services with no surprises.
Have a great one, everybody. We'll see you next time.
Alrighty, bye.